Yes, hello. I am from Mexico City, in a big town with a lot of people. We are millions here in this city. We live in a valley, and then this city is has a lot of things. I love Anders what he's going to do tomorrow, because here we can do it. We can do it here because we didn't have snow, and but we have a lot of museums. If sometime you come here, you will come here. You can go every day to one museum, because we have a lot of them. And well, I am a kindergarten teacher, but I start to studying about technology in my master degree, and I was the president of the Mexican Society of Computers in Mexico. The name is SOMECE, SOMECE, and I coordinate a group of a lot of teachers. We are um, so near, because we are friends from a long time ago when we were in Somese, and we have a group named Educreativos, and with this group we organize since 2009 Scratch Day. This year it's going to be our 10 years organizing Scratch Day. And the last year was in the museum of the Children Museum, the Papalote Children Museum, and it was a good experience to be invited to make our Scratch Day there. This year we're going to be in the Las Hayas school. It's a Colegio Las Hayas, is in Jalapa, Veracruz. It's a town with a lot of trees and a lot of fog, and it's a beautiful place. And in this school, we're going to have our Scratch Day this 2018, and we welcome you for this. Thank you.
Good. Is anybody else joining, Luisa?
I think we can start.
Okay.
And there are some persons that say that we will arrive later, but I think we could start. Okay?
Okay. So my name is Claudia Scaff, and I work at University of North Florida.
Sorry, she's Brazilian.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm from Brazil, first of all. And I moved here a while ago, I would say a long time ago. I got my master's degree in fine arts in graphic design after getting my bachelor's degree in São Paulo, Brazil, in industrial design. So industrial design in Brazil that time in the 80s, late 80s, was unless you have a lot of money that you can sponsor your own ideas. It was a very tight and small group of people that were able to have jobs. So I work in the industry there for a while, but I felt like a graphic design would be a better, more let's see, it's more open, more diverse to the, to be able to even, find a job, or, I never thought about teaching. So I came here, got my master's, and then a professor asked me if I could come and teach for him. And I couldn't believe. First of all, my English wasn't very good, and I never taught before. And this was for me amazing opportunity. I thought, no, you're calling the wrong person. I was in Brazil. He was calling me asking, no, we would like you to come and teach. So that was an amazing opportunity. And after this is history. I mean, I've been teaching for 18 years now, and I couldn't think about a better job than this. It really kind of giving back to the society, giving back, you know, and I feel like as Veronica, as just like you too, kind of trying to make a difference, right? And one thing is, you know, working in an office space and talking to your co-workers, but and that's it. And I felt that in the school environment, you know, the changing, the moving. So every semester, new group. I was looking at how many students we have in our majors, like 80 now, and you know, we accept 20 students every semester. So it's really dynamic. So it's a challenge, but it's dynamic, and sometimes you hate your students. Few, right? There's always the few ones, but you know, when you see them doing so many amazing things, it's just amazing. This is what is really worth it. So University of North Florida, it's in Jacksonville, Florida, is a town, I would say maybe a little less than 1 million. The population, little less than 1 million people here. We have a what else? We have the ocean, and we have a lot of rivers. So we have a whole one big river. So it's known as one of the biggest cities in the U.S. by land, inland. Because we have the river on one side, we have the ocean, and so we are really trapped there. So it's really nice. We are 2 hours from Orlando, which sometimes, and the fact that the ocean is right, 10 minutes from my house, it's a problem when you see the distraction, the potential distractions that our students have. When you are teaching and you see students looking at the surf to see if it's the good time to get out of a class because the waves are very big. And they said, no, you're not doing that. Anyway, so present some challenges that I never had at Iowa State University, which was in the Midwest, snow, a lot of snow, cross country. And I think they have, the students at Iowa State, they had more of a tendency to work harder, honestly, or maybe it's just a problem with generation. You know, at 18 years ago, difference from now, you know, difference. It's a huge difference, I've noticed too. So I don't know if it is a generation or the environment as well. But just to show, let me do the introduction, visual introduction of the university. So I'm talking as well, I am showing. So let me get my cursor here and share. Screen share. Oh no, you're still doing this? No, I don't want to share you. I want to share the other, yeah, this one. Let's see if it goes. So anyway, the place is, no, it didn't work. It's, okay, here, share. The place, this is the building where I work. All the graphic design, our program is called Graphic Design and Digital Media. Can you see that? Are you seeing the, okay, thank you.
Yes.
Then you have, it's also in a nature, surrounded by nature, and it's a nature preserve. So for us to build any any buildings there, we have to get permission, because you see alligators, you see deer, you see a lot of snakes, because it's Florida. So it's beautiful. It's a very beautiful campus. We have about, let me see, I believe we are in the between 15, 16,000 students at the university. Let me see, we have a lake. This is the facility where the games happen. Let's see. Oh, this is where the students, the student dorms with a lazy river. Can you believe? So can you see the distraction here? Yeah. So this is inside of the campus. Yeah, it's inside of campus. Yeah. So let's see what any other images that would be worth showing. So that's really what it is. We have our program is we call the digital graphic design and digital media. We have a big change in the program, was multimedia, etc. But we felt like this was a better name, because our students leave the school with the skills to do not only web if they want, but packaging. So they can work in a print industry or in a digital media industry. So even animation, they can. So it's not specialized. It's really more giving an overview, as well as heavy projects on specific techniques and technologies. So when they leave, they can make a decision what they want to do. So this is, yeah, so few images of the university here. So let's see. Eloisa asked me if I could talk about the project. Right? That's right?
Yeah.
Okay,
yes.
So this is, let me show you. So the whole thing started as the students. Yes.
Sorry. Could you please
slow down?
Explain how is your course? What is the curriculum normally for these students? And then introduce what you've done to show the difference, please.
Okay. So usually our classes have some setup projects. So if the student is in introduction to web, they learn some of the coding, they learn user interface, user experience. So they have that, or if they are in publication, is really focused on designing magazines and books and magazine books, annual reports, catalogs, so anything that has multiple pages. There is a class on illustration, class. So it's a very diverse. So each professor, so we have a variety of courses that, with the idea that students will leave with well-rounded. However, the one class before they take portfolio would be their last class. They have a chance to work on projects that are needed for that they haven't worked yet on, they hadn't had the chance, or maybe when they had the chance, their projects weren't good enough. So they come, I tell them, it's an pretty open semester. They have to come up with 2 proposals for the whole semester. And I have to approve the proposals. They have to design the timeline. I do establish 2 deadlines for each of them. So one in the middle of the semester is for project 1, and one is at the end of the semester for project 2. So by doing that, I'm giving I'm putting responsibility on their shoulders, because they have already learned this in previous classes. So it's a way for them to practice that kind of mentality. So when they graduate, even if they want to have their own business, they can start organizing their time and their projects. They wouldn't have a professor helping them. They would have to do on their own. So by being there for them at this stage, I felt that was a good transition too. So they write a proposal, they write the objectives of the project and how this project will add something to their skills and qualifications, as well as if it's lacking in their portfolio. So put the responsibility on them. Of course, all these proposals come to me. I need to read, I need to approve before they start. If I think the timeline is not good, they have a lot of work in class, I go back and say, no, revise. I want a checkpoint. I want to check and see what you are developing, how much you have done, because if you don't check, they will not do it. Sadly, in the university environment, still, procrastination is a big challenge. So you need to keep checking. And after this, they have about 8 weeks to accomplish the project. So it's 8 weeks for one project, 8 weeks for the second project. They have to give presentations in class. That is one of the classes, one of the final classes before presentations. They have to present to the whole class for a critique. And that critique will help them, tune up, improve a little details, hopefully just details before the project is due. And then when the project is due, they give another presentation. So I'm gonna show you. So, okay, good introduction of the project. How is it okay? Any questions about this? No?
Great.
Okay, so let's go to the project. So every semester, let me say, am I here? No, let's see how we do this. Mute, no, it's mute. Let's change this. Share. Okay, every semester, I have many nonprofit organizations and for-profit organizations that approach us asking for an intern, or they ask if we could use their projects in our classroom. And, with graphic design, digital media, they look at us and say, oh, it's going to be free. We are nonprofit organizations, so that's the best way that we can do this is, see if they can do that for us. However, when they approach us, usually we already have everything set. We have our project set, and so every semester happens, and we are piling up those projects and talk to them and say, maybe next semester, maybe next semester. So this one came to me and said, okay, we need an intern because we need a new website. And for us, internship is, they need to have someone above my intern that has experience in design, that can help this student. If they don't have anybody that can help the student with the skill the student is learning, then it's not an internship, it's a part-time job. So when she came to me and said, she said, no, I don't have any experience. So I said, oh, this is not going to be an internship. This is going to be a part-time job, or maybe I can bring this to the classroom. So when she told me about the organization, I fell in love. I thought that this was really an amazing organization and was just new, brand new. And I felt like I need to bring this to class and suggest or offer this as an opportunity for students to take on and see maybe this will be a project 1 or project 2 in their semester. So I didn't make this a mandatory. I didn't bring that project and say everybody needs to work on it. I gave as an option. So they came to my class and they presented. And right there, 4 students were excited about it. And they said, okay, we are doing this. Can we do this as in team? Yep. So to have as 4 members in a team working for one organization, this project needs to be much more than just a website. I want this as a system, and I need you guys to work in a way that you're working on things that you need for your portfolio. So if 2 students really want to work on web, so they work on the web because that's what their interests lie on, and they don't have a lot of websites to show in their portfolio. If the other students want to do more print, so that's what we are going to do. So the organization came to me asking just for the website. And I asked, so what else do you need? What else do you have? Oh, we have a logo and we have this business card. When I saw it, I said, no, you need everything. You need the branding. You need the whole branding. You're just new. And how open are you to even change the logo if necessary? And she said, whatever you want to do, put together, show us the proposal, and we'll see what we're going to do. So it was wonderful because she was very open. And I made this, I told the students, you need to find the opportunities, the problems this organization has. So giving you a little background of the organization, they deal with cancer patients and the cancer family, the family members on tasks and tasks that were very small tasks but become a big deal when a person is under treatment. So from a meal to walking the dog, or to let me see what else. They have a family needs to move from one apartment to another. So, you know, when one person, you know, the kid is in treatment, the whole family stops life because someone has cancer. So this organization, that's what they do. It's like those little things, even like cut the grass, take care of the yard. It's, of course, it's not an organization that creates dependence. It's just for a time, you know, a period of time. And that's one of the things that I felt was very unique, was because this, to me, was something different from all the other organizations, cancer organizations, that they offer a big chunk of money and tell the family, you know, deal with it. They don't understand that the cancer patient, while they are in chemotherapy, their palate is different. The food doesn't taste the same. and that maybe someone making an amazing meal will be much more beneficial and makes the life better, a little happier. So I fell in love with the proposal of this organization, and I felt like if my students are not going to do it, I'm going to do it. So they did it, and of course they got me as kind of, I don't want to say art directing, but someone that was guiding them through the whole process. What do I want to say about this? The 4 students that were involved in this project, one of them in the past had problems with anxiety and depression, with missing classes because of the way she was feeling. So that's something. The other, let me see, one other student, always super airheaded, never getting things on time. So there were some challenges within the group, which I think putting them, there was one that was it's always been very responsible. And this one became, I told her, you're going to be the supervisor. You're going to be the one that is organizing and talking to the client and talking to me, showing things and making sure that everybody's working. And so having kind of in a group setting, putting tasks or putting establish a job for each of them that they are responsible for, was a good thing too, because then they know who to blame. So the supervisor didn't do the job, or so by that is another thing that I notice works well. Any problems in the process? Of course, there is always problems in the process, especially if it's a group setting. There is always that one that's not, it's going to wait until the last minute to show progress. And the other one becomes frustrated. But you know what? I see still this as a great opportunity for them to see what is in the real world. Because when they graduate, they're going to have co-workers that are going to show the same kind of skills or attitudes. So no matter what, it's always a positive experience. That's my view on that. The client involvement. Based on my previous experiences, I don't have the client involved in the process. Basically, the client, to me, to my classes, it's more like a case study. They come with the problem, and then let's us solve the problem in 8 weeks, and then we invite the client again to the presentation. So that way, we don't have 2 people on their heads telling what to do. Let me do that. I am the one supervising the class. Let me guide them. And of course, they contact the client during those 8 weeks to get, for example, the material to put on the website, the text, or photos, if they had photos. So they need content from the client. And that's something that was needed, and they did. In fact, even the written content of the whole thing, the students put together, which wasn't even their responsibility. So they went above and beyond with this. So the organization has 2 directors. They are, one had a PR experience, the other one is more social worker. And the founder of the organization is a businessman who has a pizza place that is branching out. Even Orlando, Gainesville, they're famous now. And he didn't want to be, he didn't want to have that relationship. He didn't want people to think that V for Victory had his name. He wanted to be outside of this. He wanted the directors to be in charge. But no matter what, he's still the head and he's still the one making those decisions. So when we finish the project, we invite everybody. We invite the founder, Paul, and the 2 directors. Paul couldn't come. The directors came, watched the presentation. They were crying by the end of the presentation. They were so amazed and happy. They said, no, we need to have Paul here involved, or watching this. And by the way, just a little background on Paul. He started this organization because his 5-year-old boy has leukemia, and he had to go through this experience and felt like he couldn't do anything. And that's kind of how the whole idea of doing those small tasks came. And having a pizza place is a good thing, because he asked the people in the pizza place to make meals for cancer patients, for the kids, for adults, and they have people delivering, the volunteers delivering. Hello, someone else here?
Yes. This is Simon from Tanzania. I'm so happy he's here now.
Hi, Simon.
He's a graphic, he's a designer too.
Oh, good. Oh, that's so cool.
So
nice to meet you guys.
He's a very young, active boy who's doing amazing work in Tanzania. And I thought that he should hear this story, how you manage this and with the students, and how you use your abilities, your knowledge, your profession.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So Simon, tell us what do you do? Yeah.
Talk is please introduce yourself. Okay.
I am a STEM educator, and for the past year I've been working on STEM education programs that empower women and young girls here in Tanzania through a program called She Codes for Change. So we've been teaching them how to use science, technology to gain confidence and speak about their ideas to the community. And so also, because I'm a graphic designer, we've been working on a few projects that involve coding. We've worked on, I think you've heard of Susan's Tattoo Stitch. Susan and the Tattoo Stitch program. So we've been working with local designers, graffiti artists, just to teach them how to code different patterns. Yeah, and so that's sort of the work I've been doing in Tanzania.
Good.
I think you both have many things to exchange.
Yeah. So let's see, where can I, okay, so where am I? So we already finished the process, right? So we're going through the final, because I want to show you
may you summarize what you have said, or you want me to do it for you?
Yeah,
just so we can follow. Yes.
So Simon, just to summarize this, is a project that I brought to the classroom. That is for a nonprofit organization, and which 4 students were involved. They decided to take on the project, and and dealing with me as the supervisor, like the art director, but showing to the client at the end. So the students were not only taking what the client wanted, but also were involved in to find what the client needed. So they start as a website, they just want a website, and then we figure out together that the organization need much more than that. So the students put together, so there were 8 weeks working on this. Client was not involved in the process unless needed, such as to give content or photos, and that's it. So what the few challenges were related to team dynamics, right? And always one person that wouldn't do the job, or wait until the last minute. And other challenges were that the client wouldn't provide the content, so they had to come up with their own content, and deadlines that they set up for themselves. The last deadline is the one I set up for them, because I say, so project needs to be done by this day. This day is the day of presentations, and that's the day we are bringing the client here to the classroom to watch what you have to offer, what we have to offer. Yeah, good summary.
Yeah. Okay. And how old were they?
Maybe you could say a little bit about the organization. What are the proposals, the objectives of the?
Yeah. So Simon, you probably get those requests. So nonprofit organizations coming and asking for free design all the time.
Yeah.
And I don't mind, but I mind, but I interview them first to see which one I'm going to take. And that one, when I ask, what makes your organization different from the other cancer organizations? And they said, we do everything that nobody wants to do. So basically, other organizations would give maybe funds for development, or like I know one organization did $6,000 for a family, and deal with it. But those little things, such as walking the dog, or a meal that is not the meal that you're cooking every day, and chemotherapy is, you can't deal with that meal because your chemicals are not the same. So they do those little things, and they have the high schoolers around the Florida, around here, Jacksonville, involved on those to become volunteers. They have us. I mean, I've done some driving around, pizza and delivering too. So whatever it's needed. So the high schoolers, sometimes they go there, they help moving families from one place to another, or walking dogs, taking care of cats when the lady has to be in the hospital for a few days. So they do those little things that you don't see other organizations doing. They have here Meals on Wheels, so it's just Meals on Wheels, but they don't have someone that will do your yard work or etc. So that's the foundation of the organization. So I thought, no, this is really cool. I mean, we need to do it. We need to do something about this. And
how old are you?
And the founder of the organization, his son is under treatment. He has a son that has leukemia, and that's kind of how the whole organization started. But he also owns many business around, so he didn't want to be involved. And the one thing he is very proud of saying is all the money that goes to the organization goes to organization. The two directors that they have, their salaries come out of the founders' pocket. The founders that have their own business. He's super proud that every cent goes back to the community. And that is, you know, here in the US is a big problem with trying to get money out of the organizations, and who, you know, like providing meals to the founders or to the directors. That's not how they're doing. So we took on this project. And so that is about the organization, the 4 students, the challenges with the students, and at the end, when they presented to the 2 directors, they said, "No, we need to present to the founder as well, and see how he's going to react." They didn't want to tell me anything about the founder, but the founder is this imagine you know, he is like, he thinks like he's a money guy, number guy. He is he's quick, and according to the director too, he doesn't give money. He doesn't give he's very stingy, mão fechada, no? And they were a little concerned about his reaction, especially with the change in the branding, the logo. But no, he loves that logo. I don't know how he's going to react. So, semester was over. They called me. Can the students present to Paul, to the founder? Let's do it. So we had that presentation too. So the students, not only, so I divided students in 2. So there was a group of 4. 2 students want to focus on web for their portfolio. 2 students want to focus on print. So I divided them. So the 2 students work together on the website and motion piece, and a little motion too. And the other 2 students focus on all the printing materials, such as poster, handouts, brochures, little, I think was buttons, so little gadgets that can be given away to. That is like a proud sponsor of V for Victory. That's the name of the organization. So showing now, enough of looking at me, let's look at the project. Okay. So screen share, let's go and share. Okay. So just a little thing about them. So here you see the students. This is Paul, the guy on the background, and me. Yeah. This is Paul, and those are the 2 directors. And then this one student here. So you were asked about the age, maybe age group, and where are they in the program. So this is a senior level class. Right now, they are taking portfolio, and by the end of the semester, hopefully they are going to graduate. So this is Megan, who I put her as a supervisor of the group. Those 2 work on web. This student and this one work on print pieces. So you see that Paul is happy, right? He's smiling.
And the students as well. They seem to be very proud and very happy with the results.
Yeah,
That's very important.
Yeah, and you can see, I mean, when we present, they give a class presentation, they also have to dress up. They dress as a business casual, so it's a good practice to the real world. They have to do this. So you have here, you have them presenting. So I was taking she's presenting the print piece here in the middle of the table. Here's the process. This is me when they are presenting like a in-class process. So they're showing me their website and the print, everything is in front of me, and we are just talking about ways to improve their pieces. So let's see here. Yeah, and more photos here. So you can see here, Simon, their thumbnails. This is early in the process, thumbnails of the project. So you have the brand, some layout for their website too. Anything else? Yeah, yeah, we are here. And so here. And this is Paul paying attention to the presentation and at the end. So just to show you the project itself, this is what they presented the day of the presentation. So they have to put together a presentation that goes with introduction. So the touch points, what they were going to work on. Animating the logo, Facebook header icon. So also the social media was important. Nowadays, you have to have the social media element into the projects too. Website, mobile, that would be responsive. So would be mobile, tablet, and desktop. The layout would be for all three. You have here, that's something we do, is a mood board. The mood board showcase what are the colors that you see the organization, what are the images that translate the mission or the feel of the organization. So all those things they put together, we call the mood board. Also typeface choices, everything is in one slide. So this is a good way, because with 4 students, if they have this mood board together, make sure they have a consistency and they have something to follow. So the logo, this is the new logo. I should bring the V for Victory, the first logo, so you can see the difference. So here, the whole idea was V for Victory. You have not only the abstract translation of the cancer symbol, right, with the ribbon. You also have, so it's upside down. So you have the upside down, but it makes a V. So you have a V, you have an upside down ribbon. You also have like 2 hands, kind of abstraction of 2 hands coming together. The colors were chosen as something warm. You know, when we are doing the research on all the ribbons and the colors, there are colors for every kind of cancer, but we didn't see those 2 colors for any cancer, and we wanted to have something that was more general, something that wouldn't say this V for Victory is just for XYZ kind of cancer. So more open, more and works in black and white white on black. This is the web. The face would be the Facebook page. So you have the V for Victory, a little design here showing the meals. So someone holding the silverware to show, yeah, we can cook. And on the other side is we can also tools for this, from fixing things, taking the dog for walks. So you have the things that they do. So kind of go along with their mission. Then the website, a mock-up of the website. So you have the homepage. So you can see that the same version in a tablet as well as on a phone. And then you have the publication. So business card, letterhead. For example, when they want to give a thank you, a certification of recognition of members that have been helping a lot. So you have the layout, the design for to put on your wall because you've been recognized by the organization. A little thank you card. This is something I'm still working with them because they want to put this in the pizza, on the tables of the pizza place. And I think it's just too much, it occupies too much space on the table. We are changing this. So the brochure. And what is interesting is that they have two things going on. One is a pamphlet for the volunteers and a pamphlet for business owners that want to provide their services. So one is the volunteer as a person, volunteering and driving cars or the cleaning, etc. And the other one is finding business that want to participate in this organization. So if I have air conditioning kind of business and I want to air conditioning, the place broke and they don't have any money, can they not donate the whole thing but give us for the cost of the normal cost of the machine? So they would not be, they still have, they're not giving money, they're giving their discount. So there's like different ways of partnership. So would maybe call partnership. Mock-ups for t-shirts and bins and tags and let's see what else we have here. Yeah. So the teenagers, especially teenagers, love that. And in the US, teenagers need volunteer hours to be able to go to college and to prove that they volunteer 100 hours to be able to have access to maybe scholarships. So teenagers can wear those things, and when they're volunteering or just to promote the organization. This is the competition, and that's something that they need to show too. So what exists now that is our website, is our branding better than what the competition has to offer? So they put together, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So you have Make-A-Wish, CAP, and Candle Lighters. And each one has a different, maybe a different mission. But you can see the colors, have the blue and some oranges and yellows and green. And then they end up the presentation with future recommendations, as they didn't code the website. They had a little program there, the Adobe X, that they can pretend, you can click on links and open almost like a website. So they gave the
people.
Yeah. So they didn't code the website because it wasn't the main idea was the design. And Paul, the founder, has a lot of contacts and people in California that can do the coding for them. So that was great. have the website automatically organize all the information, volunteers and business input into the forms, create a book for V for Victory, organize the binder. So there were a few things that say, okay, so what are the future recommendations? What do you see that still need to happen? And this is the new V for Victory, caring, warm, friendly. That's another mood board that came later. So you see here the warmth, like giving hope, the hands, the mood board here. So you have those two that wasn't presented before. So that's it, like wrapping up. That was
the already on air, Claudia?
Sorry?
You have already published it? It's on website? It's in the internet?
No, it's not. Because one, they contact us and said there is another, and I knew there was another V for Victory. But they didn't think that the V for Victory, and they also deal with cancer. Now it's changed to V for Victory, and there is another subtitle there. So now the client came back to us saying we need to change everything. We are so happy about, no, not really. So it's
part of the real world, isn't it?
Yeah. So they need, but they already made the changes, and hopefully they can publish this and have the website up and so forth. So that's it. I mean, this is what happens. They presented to the client. I already gave their grades back, and I already made some suggestions of things to improve, which needed. So maybe there is a need for more consistency.
I'd like to open now for questions, since we are running out of time. But I'd like to open for questions and consider suggestions. Who wants to start? Veronica.
Yes.
Okay, Claudia. I was enjoying this session because my son is graphic designer. Then I know about what are you talking about, because I look all around the years when he was studying and the challenges they need to have and how to use the tools for all the graphic designers. When he started a long time ago, he only used PowerPoint.
Oh yeah.
and now, well, now he works in Adobe, and he is the graphic designer representing Adobe in Mexico. And I know a lot of tools you have now, but I was wondering, not only the tools made the things, the tools make the things happen when you have the creativity and you have the hard work and you have the push and you have the challenges all around it. If you don't have it, the tools can do nothing. What do you think about?
Veronica, this is something that I try to tell. I mean, I tell the students, when you saw the process, you saw that everything started on a pencil and paper. I don't let them go to the computer right away. I mean, the computer, they use the computer to do visual research, to see what is out there, so they don't do the same thing. They use the computer to, let me see what else they do there. They, in the early stages, to put the mood board together, but what you saw here, let's see here, is the whole process. I mean, you see this. The computer, the technology is there just to help them accomplish what they want in a faster than it was in the past. that in the past we would have to cut pieces of paper and glue them with rubber cement, and it was, you know, time consuming. The computer, I see, of course, as you know, especially your son being the Adobe representative, is you know, it can do a lot, open a lot of doors for us, but it's not, I mean, they don't, and we say we can't rely on the computer for you to be creative. It goes beyond that. You have, you know, and that's why we always start with the thumbnails as a way of a brainstorm of images. If you go, and you know, Veronica, many times what you see on the piece of paper, and they try to translate the same design to the with using all the Adobe products, sometimes it loses the natural, the organic approach that the paper and pencil had. Of course, now with Adobe products, you can add texture, and so it becomes more organic. Everything is more organic, but everything starts with the piece of paper. Also, the other thing we try to tell the students is that if you are in a client meeting, I mean, you are in a restaurant with the client, and you have the ability to sketch up a logo or a design quickly on a napkin if needed. You know, you're not going to have the InDesign, Illustrator, Photoshop in front of you to do all this. Of course you have, I mean, nowadays you have a lot of apps that you can design on your own phone, the screen of your phone. But the whole idea is that the ideation process is heart and brain, and then your hand. If your hand goes to the mouse, or if the hand goes to the piece of paper, you know, it's however is you know, however it works for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes, this is real, because Educreativos has a logo, and it was made in a piece of paper in the restaurant, and this is the real meaning is what is inside you.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Welcome. Any other questions?
I do have one.
Yes, go on.
Yeah. So Claudia, I really like the fact that you're taking students through the whole organic process of sketching and thinking about what when you do on the computer before they do on the computer, because I think that's one of the things that in design, that's one of the things people are running away from nowadays. But I want to understand, because the skill level that these students are they taking design class? And
Simon,
this,
please, a little bit slower, speak, because it's cutting. Could you please
okay.
A little bit slower? Thank you. It's cutting.
All right. I just wanted to understand if the skill level of the students, do they begin the project when they already know the process of designing, when they know how to use the software, or do they learn all this through the activity that the client needs?
Okay, they are senior level students. So to understand our program, the first year they take the technology, the drawing 1, drawing 2. They take what else? And art history. So they take a lot of foundation classes first. And then they take the one course called the Basic Computer Images. In this class, they learn the basics of Photoshop, InDesign, and Illustrator. Then, so this is like the raw tools. Then they take a class called Introduction to Graphic Design. That is like in the 3rd semester. And that's when they apply into our program. They submit a portfolio, and we decide which students have the potential to succeed in the program. So the students that you saw here, and they are ready to graduate. So they already went through the whole process. They were selected. They were so they already have the knowledge of the technology, or like basics. So the D, she really likes motion, so she developed, and I don't have the motion piece here with me, but she developed a motion piece because that's the area she wants to focus on, as well as print. Those two students want to focus on web. So they take those classes as mandatory classes too, because this provides them knowledge of what is out there as a graphic designer. And then the last year, or now they are in my class in portfolio. Now we are helping them develop their portfolio based on what they want to do after graduation. So if they want to focus on web and motion, they don't even need a print portfolio. Why to put print pieces there if that's not what you want to do? So it's a very customized class as well, the portfolio. So they were like a 1 semester to graduate.
Okay, that is really nice, because one of the programs, She Codes for Change, that I'm consulting with, they are working with ITU, which is like the International Telecommunication Union, and UN Women to design an employability skills bootcamp, which is going to be one week for African girls. And one of the biggest tasks that we have is to design curriculum that is going to empower these girls with skills like coming up with logos. And so I was wondering if this could be squeezed into 1 week for people, especially for girls who do not understand, who have never used a computer before, you know, but maybe they have the talent to draw.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's the ideas come with the drawings. You know, you get the drawings there, and then in 1 week too, it's hard to put this together. Maybe the drawing is really more of an exercise of creativity than anything else.
That's good. I was more to see you can help us think about this curriculum better, I think.
Yeah. I mean, we can. I can share my curriculum too and see. But the students you're talking about, they are what are they? Which level?
The idea is that we get young girls between 16 to 19 years old from different countries, and I think they're going to have a beginner level experience using the computer, but they would have an interest in art and drawing. So we need to teach them how to use these skills to get employability skills, or even to be able to make a business out of it. And I think this design class is something they could do.
Okay, so so here in the US we have something that is it's called the AIGA, is the Organization for Graphic Designers. Let's see, AIGA Jacksonville, and they have something going on that is they take high schoolers. And Jacksonville ligature. Let me see if I can get cocktails and creatives. They have something going on, and those are my former students that are doing that are part of this. They got the high schoolers to and they do something like this that is helping them. I mean, it's in 16, 19 years old, and I believe they bring like a non-profit organizations, but they use is a series. It's like a once a week, I think they meet, and they but they meet in our labs, our computer labs. So they start with the same process as I was talking, with the thumbnails, etc. And then they go to the computer and they have always a tutor, which is a former student, with them, helping them. Many of those high schoolers already have the knowledge of many of the software programs. So when they get there, they're already, doing some Photoshop, etc. But if they don't, there is a tutor that helps them as well.
Okay.
It's interesting, this proposal of integrating college people and high school kids. It's both for both of them, I think.
Yeah.
Good idea, Claudia. Good idea.
Yeah, I'm not. I don't get involved on this one. I have another one. One of my colleagues is the chair of the education chair of this organization, and they put this together. And they started last weekend, and I think it's called Discover Design. I'll find out what is. But it seems to be it's nice because my former students put, yes, and this was my mentoree, so they feel so proud of themselves when they see that they did something nice. It's like, my baby is doing something so good, and I'm so proud of it. So I think it's because, Luisa, we are dealing with them all the time, and giving the opportunity to the college students or the new graduates to give back to the society, I think is a good idea too. So that's something, Simon, to consider too, because I don't think it's one person thing. I think it's bringing the community together to get this working. I think it can be very nice.
I think if you find other links or idea, you could put on the group.
I will.
And in the group also we have the contacts, and if you want a direct mail, you can exchange them later. Because I think you both have much in common, and it's great. I'm happy for that.
Good. Okay. Any other questions? No?
Others?
No? Or comments?
I think it's a nice project, but I'm not a designer myself, so. But in 8 weeks, did you do all that stuff in 8 weeks?
Yes, 8 weeks.
Okay, I'm impressed.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, it's a.
I mean, it must be a hard work for you as a teacher or a tutor.
Mm-hmm. It is, but it's a. It will be. It's a. Let me see. It's a training for the real world. We say 8 weeks. There are companies that they get like thousands and thousands of dollars for this kind of project, all these deliverables, and there is a lot of people involved in the creation of the branding. You're very right. I mean, it's a very intense. 8 weeks, maybe not enough. 8 weeks is what one of the classes core. It takes 8 weeks to come up with the logo. It's not even the touch points. It's just the logo. And but they need to be efficient. At this time, 4 years later, after they enter into the university, they need to get things done. And and when they are showing their ideas, the beginning ideas were not very good, and and okay, back to the drawing board, and draw more. And that's what it is. But there is a time, and there's that we say, okay, we need to make a decision because we have a deadline, and that's what they're going to have to deal in a real world with deadlines. And if they don't have things ready, they are going to lose their client.
Yes, I think that's a really good idea. You have to work for the deadline. You couldn't wait until 1 week to the deadline. You must do it all the time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, and I think the most, besides this graphic work, professional work, I think you changed their lives. You not only helped the organization by thinking, in some way, you changed the lives of these students.
I hope so.
In the beginning, she said, Simon, that they used to be students not motivated for classes, not very absent, not, and now you see their faces, you see that they have changed a lot. And I as psychologists, I can say they have improved their self-esteem. As they knew that they are able to do that, even especially in this short time, how much energy, how much good stuff they found inside themselves. And another very important thing, something that it's important, I try to teach to my or pass to my students. When you're learning, it's not only for you. What are you going to do with this knowledge? You have to give it back to the society, to the humanity. It's not only for you. So I think in this matter, not only the graphic stuff, that is wonderful. I told you I wanted to contract your service. But the most important that these students are going to take for the rest of their lives, they now can believe themselves, and they can help to change this world for better. I think this is huge.
And Luisa, if you ask me what's next, that's one thing I wanna focus on now. Is I wanna know. I need to see if I can do that, but the effects of this into their mental health, honestly. I want to know if those, or I know one of those 4 students have the depression, and she, misses classes too because of all the medication, etc. But and she felt very strong about helping this organization because she has someone in the family had cancer, etc. So she felt, no, I want to do this. And I don't remember seeing her missing class during that process. So my questions now are students that has some kind of a mental issue, or when they start working with something that excites them, or something that they see that other people maybe have more or bigger problems, or problems just like yours, or bigger, and that you can make a difference. Would they stop thinking about themselves and being too introspective and feeling all the the anxiety and the depression, etc., because they don't have time for that, because they are really focusing on something that is for the greater good? does this help them? That's all I want to know. I really and Anders and Simon, when I talked to Eloise about this in the past, was I started because I felt that my students, I every semester I would have to call counseling at the university and almost take the student to counseling and say that's it, because they would be crying in my office. And it could be from anxiety, depression, or someone that tried to commit suicide very close to the family. And so there's so many different things happening. But or the whole thing with medication, Eloisa, and no, they all be bipolar, or they not bipolar, but the attention deficit.
Yes.
And I think it comes with creativity, being creative. And I'm trying to really, the next thing for me, I would like, but I think I have to get my master's degree in psychology, Eloisa. So I hope not, but is really understand if it's a generation thing, or and if it is a generation, how to help this generation, how our projects, how the class, how can we do better? How can we get them to stop thinking about their problems? And is it like one professor has a project on the happy project, and the students they design posters that make them happy. Is it the way to go? Or maybe is the other way to go and say people with abuse, sexual abuse, etc., so maybe dealing with more dramatic things, so they will see, oopsie, so not only me have a problem, so we can focus on someone else's problem, and they forget about the so this is the next thing for me. I really trying to maybe putting together.
I've been working with this for 15 years now. From literacy, 5 years old, to people who are taking their PhDs.
Yeah.
So I have a big yes. As a matter of fact, I since we started discussing this topic, it's not only technology, because the things walk together. We can't separate the technology of the persons. Mm-hmm. So both things are important. So as much as people are interested in, I intend to give some, to make some sessions to discuss it, to help the teachers and educators in general with some clues, some tips, and some things about this in this way, because it's a multiserial factors stuff. It's not so simple. As you told, there are many factors that you have already listed, and there are so much more. So we have to know how to walk in these different paths to really help students. Technology, robotics and stuff, it's very important things, but just this is not going to solve the planet, is not going to help the humanity. So do you want to talk something, Simon? Simon?
No, okay.
Okay, we are finishing, wrapping up. So I would like to thank you very much for your presentation, Claude.
Welcome.
Sharing this good result, very good results with us. I think it's something, a lot of material to think about, and to teach us how we can make the difference with the students, no matter it's college or teenagers or
Yeah.
3, 4, or 1,000 of them.
Yeah.
They need us very much.
Yeah.
And I think even in those you said, oh, I'm not psychologist, I think, but you made it very right. Congratulations.
I hope so. Okay. Well, nice to meet you all.
The same.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah.
You guys have a good weekend, right?
And we have Carnival here.
Yeah.
I'll be sending some
Carnival, you're right, Louise.
Carnival. Yes. Thank you, guys.
Okay. Good night. Bye-bye. And good night for some of you. Good afternoon.
Bye-bye.
Good night to you.
Yeah, good
Obrigada,
night.
Cláudia. Beijo.
Beijo. Ciao.
Ciao.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Anders. Bye, Simon.
Let me go out.